After quite some time, today we're going to take a look at the CPU tower cooler from Scythe, and we're going to talk about Mugen 5. This is the, well, actually a quite nice CPU tower cooler, and this is the black version. As you can see, the heatsink is in complete black. It's not standard silver color, and this is what I love about it. This is the one thing that, well, the most important thing that I really love about, because I usually just for the looks don't prefer the standard silver ones, but okay. And of course we have here 5 case flex 120 fans, which we're going to use in that build that I'm going to build. It's going to be some sort of a mid-range build, and we're going to use the AMD Ryzen 5600X. So let's start with the box content. Of course, you get a massive heatsink that has 6 heat pipes going through the passive part and down to the cold plate that is in contact with your IHS of the processor. You get one fan. You get brackets for your AMD and for your Intel processor, so you could basically manage on anything, and you get additional bracket if you decide to go with additional fan to place it on your passive heatsink. Now it also depends on the position, because look at this, it's a bit tilted on one side. So here we have the RAMs. You have nice clearance for the RAMs, you don't have to worry about it, and the fan sits right here. The other one sits here if you decide to buy an extra one, and the thing is, you have to be very careful depending on the I/O cover of the motherboard. So we're going to check that out as well. Also, you get a side screwdriver, since you do have to tighten the screws all the way through the passive heatsink. So this is cool to have in addition to the whole box content. You get thermal paste, which is in this tube. Usually CPU tower coolers don't come with pre-applied thermal paste. They get either tube or in a plastic sealed bag or something similar to that. So quite nice, subtle design, but let's check out some specifications and features. The total height of the CPU tower cooler is 154.5 millimeters and the height is 136. The whole depth, when you're looking at it from the top, is 110.5 millimeters, and when we're talking about sockets that it's compatible with, from Intel 2066 to 1150, which covers of course the 1200, and AMD from AM4 to FM1. You have 6 millimeter diameter, 6 heat pipes. The total weight of it is 890 grams. And now for the fan, we have the Case Flex 1225 FD15B-P. This is the whole model number, so if you're deciding to go with additional one for the push-pull combination on the heatsink, now you know. The fan speed is around 1500 RPMs plus minus 10%. The total fan size is 120 times 120 times 27, so it's 2 millimeters thicker than your usual fan. It's, as I stated, it has an excellent RAM compatibility, so it's an asymmetrical design that allows unrestricted access to your RAM slots. Even if you place the fan, you can access the RAMs, exchange them and do whatever you wish. If, for instance, a RAM stick is dead or anything similar to that, you can replace it without any problems. So let's build this mid-range build with the AMD Ryzen 5600X and with the AMD Radeon 5700 from ASRock, and check out the build and temperatures. Okay, so I do have to say that I'm really surprised with this little thing, and I'm saying little because compared to other CPU tower coolers, this one is 154.5 centimeters of height, and usually you get 158, 60, 65, whatever. So this one, except for the full black design that I really love inside this case, and I went with full anti-RGB right here, so something a bit different, you know. And the cool thing, I mean, in this room the room temperature is 29 Celsius degrees, and I'm really fascinated with this cooler because if you're aiming for something that is in the budget category, you want to cool your processor, because AMD Ryzen 5 5600X goes into some sort of a mid-range category when it comes to processors and the performance that it can give you. Now, you're most likely going to aim for something that is in the same category when it comes to CPU tower coolers. So you're going to look for a CPU tower cooler that will cool the processor nicely. As stated, the room temperature was 28 to 29. The CPU temperature under full load in AIDA 64 Extreme Edition was 67 Celsius degrees. And you do have to take also one thing into consideration. This case has a bit of a closed front, so only intake is on top and at the bottom, taking into consideration that 67 Celsius degrees on the 5600X with this cooler is a quite nice temperature. So yeah guys, I mean, something a bit different, you know, full black design is really nice and slick, and the case Flex 120 fans are also very cool because you do have the PWM connection. They're also stealth black. You could do a nice anti-RGB build if you're not a fan of it, or you're against it, or you just don't like something glaring in your face while gaming, working, or whatever. This combination is quite cool, and you can extend this one with additional fan on the side, because as you can see right here, it doesn't bother, depending on the motherboard of course, but for this motherboard it didn't bother if I placed another 120 fan on the side, since you already have the brackets. Also, I did use their original thermal paste. So usually I have a couple of different thermal pastes laying around for my custom builds, or for whatever I use them for water cooling on blah blah blah, something like that. When I test CPU tower coolers, I use the thermal paste that gets inside this box or any other box that comes with the CPU tower cooler. So yeah, I use the original Scythe thermal paste that you get with this box, and 67 Celsius degrees. I'm not going to repeat it anymore, guys. If you're looking for something that is in the budget category, has 6 heat pipes of diameter of 6 millimeters, you can get this one, which looks outstanding, performs quite nicely in that range. And you can also check out the links for the Amazon that will direct you to your Amazon, to your basically local Amazon. Finally, don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up button, and also click the notification bell to get notifications for future content that I will produce. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I will see you in another one. Bye bye.